This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. It's very rare to see an automaker publicly criticize one of its suppliers, but Volvo just threw Luminar under the bus. Volvo originally announced that Luminar's LiDAR would be standard equipment on its ES90 and EX90 models last year. But last week it said the technology would become an option because supplies were limited. And now Volvo is cutting off Luminar altogether. It says Luminar failed to meet its contractual obligations, which is a big blow to Luminar because Volvo is its biggest customer. Luminar was already struggling financially before this all blew up, and now it's warning investors that it could become insolvent. Automakers in Europe have been getting the EU to ease off its CO2 emission targets, and Stellantis chairman John Elkann has a suggestion on how to do it. He's urging the EU to allow automakers to meet 2030 emission goals over a 5-year period between 2028 and 2032. The proposal is similar to a deal automakers and the EU reached earlier this year that allows companies to average 2025 CO2 targets over the next 3 years. Elkann's idea is to extend that and come up with a different standard for light commercial vehicles. The EU is planning to review its automotive CO2 regulations later this year. Chinese EV startup Xiaomi is seeing really impressive growth. This week, the company will have delivered 350,000 vehicles, which is more than a month ahead of schedule. And its EV business posted a profit for the first time last quarter. While it was a modest $98 million profit, it is impressive for a company that just started selling vehicles in March of last year. Even so, Xiaomi has become one of the worst performing Chinese tech stocks over the past few months. And that's because rising chip prices are expected to cut into the company's margins on smartphones, which is its main business. And some investors are concerned about its long-term EV growth due to intense competition in China and production delays that are holding back deliveries. Nissan is adding a plug-in hybrid to its US lineup, but don't get too excited. While Nissan calls it the Rogue PHEV, it's actually a rebadged Mitsubishi Outlander. And it's going to be interesting to see how sales go. Through the third quarter of this year, Mitsubishi sold fewer than 5,500 Outlander PHEVs. Nissan has more than 3 times as many dealers as Mitsubishi does, so maybe it can do better.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Last week we showed you Ford's new design for its dealerships, and thanks to a personal tour, we've got some info on the thinking that went into it. The entranceway is open and welcoming. There are no receptionists at the door. You can just walk in, help yourself to a cup of coffee or a snack bar, and wait for the salesperson. There are no cubicles or offices. You'll sit in comfortable chairs in partitioned areas. The only time you'll sit in an office with the door closed is with the F&I person, since you'll be talking about your personal finances. There's what they call a tech table, where you can learn from an expert on how to use the technology inside of your car, like Blue Cruise. There's a display area that shows all the accessories available for specific vehicles. Ford also carefully chose the construction materials and lighting to lower the stress levels of shoppers and make the showrooms more inviting. It wants all of its global dealers to adopt these features and says that one U.S. dealership already saw a 30% increase in sales thanks to the new design. Let's stick with Ford and retail sales for a moment because the automaker just signed a deal with Amazon to sell certified pre-owned cars on Amazon Autos. The program involves Ford dealers who want to display their used car inventory, and shoppers can complete the entire buying process online via Amazon Autos. Ford dealers can even sell models from other automakers that they took in as trade-ins. Best of all, you get a money-back guarantee, which allows you to bring the car back for a full refund within 14 days in 1,000 miles. And as long as we're talking about Ford, we've got some future product intel from Auto Forecast Solutions. The next generation of the Bronco and Ranger will go into production at the Michigan assembly plant in mid-2029. Those models will ride on the T6 platform under the code name U825 for the Bronco and P825 for the Ranger. A commercial van will be the first vehicle to ride on Renault's new software-defined vehicle architecture developed by its smart EV division Ampere. The skateboard chassis will debut under the new all-electric Trafic van, and here's what the production version looks like. There will be 2 battery packs available. One features an NMC chemistry for longer range, and the other is an LFP pack that provides shorter range, but is also cheaper. The NMC battery provides an estimated WLTP range of 450 kilometers, or about 280 miles, while the LFP pack returns 350 kilometers, or roughly 215 miles of range. While Renault says all the battery cells will be produced in Europe, only the NMC pack will be available at launch. Thanks to 800-volt fast charging technology, the battery will be able to go from 15 to 80% in 20 minutes of charging. A new generation electric motor produces 150 kilowatts, or about 200 horsepower, and is part of the reason the new Trafic van can tow up to 2 tons, or 4,400 pounds. Another new feature for Renault's new software-defined vehicles is a brand new operating system that runs on Android Automotive. Along with this comes better connectivity and things like OTA updates, but it's even able to offer tailored navigation that takes into account the vehicle's dimensions and how much weight is in the back. The new electric Trafic van will be made alongside the ICE version in France, and it will likely hit the market in early 2027, since production doesn't start until late next year. Ram is taking a unique approach in its return to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It looks like it will have 5 trucks that race. 3 of those driver's seats have already been filled, 1 is yet to be determined. But the last will be for what it calls a free agent. These free agents will come from all across motorsports as a way to keep things fresh and allow drivers to feel what it's like to get behind the wheel. However, it sounds like these drivers will change each race and they won't be racing for team points. Instead, Ram is creating a prize program based on the best performers. Interested drivers can contact motorsports@ramtrucks.com, and the first free agent will be announced in February. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Alex Partners, when it really matters. CSP, the Composites Solution Partner. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And thanks to the following YouTube and Patreon members.
At CSP, we work with OEM engineers across the country on their journeys to lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly vehicles. Learn more at thecsp.com.
We act, we grow, we transform, we protect, we rescue. In moments that define the future, we are the partner you can trust. Alex Partners, when it really matters.